Yeah, because we are just talking in Spanish a few minutes ago. So now we're going to do the same things in English. So, hi everyone. I'm Eduardo Duran, and this is welcome to Playing with Forms. I'm here with Adriana. This is a space where we share stories, experiences, and tools that help us experience life from a different perspective and discover who we really are. And well, I'm here with Adriana. Adriana, how are you?
Hello, Eduardo. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this weekly space where we share, we chat, we learn, and we integrate the knowledge that the higher dimensional beings share with us through their communication with Eduardo, information that he channels and transcribes in his books also titled "Playing with Forms." So be so kind to find the link in this transmission so you can buy the books. You must. It's information, really valuable information. So many information about our story, our world, and especially tools to live a greater and more enjoyable life. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, activate the bell, and leave your questions, suggestions, and comments. That is very important for us, so Eduardo and I can choose the next topic for our next transmission. So, and of course, leave your hearts and your fingers up, so we will be able to be seen in so many or more places. So that would be great, and we will really appreciate it. So today's topic, October, considered or called the Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Wow, for me that was eye catching, because not only because I am a woman interested in health and well-being, but because I'm a woman and I am just trying to understand why or how come something that is just something that happens is created as a whole thing. I mean, October being the Breast Cancer Awareness Month, that implies or makes me think about. I mean, let me start first saying the prior transmissions we had, we talked about the importance of observing our thoughts, and observing also our belief systems. And when I saw this about the October month, I just wondered what is happening. And then so many questions came, and I'm going to share those questions with you guys and Eduardo so we can talk a little more. I do not intend to stir up controversy, of course not, but I would like just to talk about all these in more considering our consciousness, our decisions, or what is happening with all this, because I've seen women really like worried about all this idea of uh, breast cancer all the time. So so many questions came up to me, Eduardo, so I'm going to share them with you so we can all with our audience talk about it. Why do we believe what we believe? Are we aware of that? Are we choosing to accept what is said outside, or we are simply following the trend and going with the flow? What do you think about it, Eduardo?
Well, there's a lot of we talk often about how to be aware of ourselves, and that actually means a lot of things. But one of those things to be aware of our body. So when we are aware of the body, there are so many things we can start to notice, and we start to notice things that we were. It doesn't mean that these things were not there in the past. It's just that we started to notice them now.
Yeah.
So that changes absolutely everything, because then we start making conscious decisions or of what we want to do with ourselves. So the thing is that we cannot change anything in us unless we are able that it's there. So in order for us to change it, we start to start looking at it first. So I don't know if you want to. I mean, there's one thing that is very important for us to be aware of, and that's that our thoughts are going to affect everything in our life, including our health. So Adriana is talking now
I was
about,
gonna ask you that. Yeah, I was gonna ask you that. Yeah.
yeah. So the thoughts have a direct relationship to our health. And one of the things that I was talking about with the higher dimensional beings, which obviously at the very beginning I was not even considering because I was not aware of it, was that they were telling me that there was a direct relationship between my thoughts and my health. In other words,
Yeah.
whatever I was thinking will have a direct effect on my health. And I started to discuss this with a lot of friends who are actually doctors, and they have a lot of experience in this field. Some of them are actually very aware of this. And something that made me think a lot about this was that just the fact that we are very aware, and many doctors are aware, that stress can cause sickness in people. What about other things like fear? I mean, there are so many emotions that we can actually think about how much they affect our body. And
Yeah.
what if we go to the opposite side, where positive emotions can also affect us in a positive way? Do you want to say
Yeah.
something?
Yes. I want to just say something. So I really agree with what you're saying, and especially that it's been almost more than 2 years that I've been studying um, about it's like a different approach of health. I'm not a doctor, but I'm a woman really interested in well-being and in healing. Um, so I joined a group of doctors that are started sharing this new approach to health that is called the Germanic medicine of Dr. Hammer. He's a German doctor who really started paying attention to the biologic laws in our body. So he sees us. He used to. He dead. He's dead already. But he used to, instead of looking us at just the body, he's looking us at biological beings, and we respond to biological laws. So with regards of this topic today, uh, frequencies of thoughts, the idea, for example, me as a woman, and I see my friends and so many of them, like uh how can I say it, giving up to the idea that something can happen to us, especially talking about breast cancer. So it's been a complete idea of, no matter what I do, something can happen to me, as if our body uh, wouldn't be like the perfect machine it is. Because some party, I mean, at some point in your book, I don't exactly know where, you make that question to the uh,
Dimensional things.
yeah, and regarding what is the greatest machine there is, and they said our body is. So and besides that, I believe that my body is able to get back to balance, because you mentioned in the Spanish session about balance, no? So illness or disease means not balance, not equilibrium. I don't know what word used better. Balance or equilibrium, maybe it's the same. But and what about, you also talk about the vibrations and the frequencies of our thoughts. So we as women, now that we are all the time talking about the red ribbon, I mean the pink ribbon, sorry, we are like giving up this strength, and we are getting into that space where we feel afraid at some point. So we are giving our all our power to this something that can happen to us. So my question is, and it is very important for me to talk about this, especially how about, so what is, I mean, the role of the mind and our belief system in our health? So how can we, or what can we do to to get out of there and to just find tools or I don't know, methods or techniques to really go back whenever we are, giving up to something that someone has told us about ourselves or our body. I don't know if I'm,
I'm
going in
following you.
circles in this, but it's something that really moved me this month of October. um, and I am sure that there's a lot of information, and I want you, Eduardo, to share everything that you can, about it today. Yes.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, well, there's a lot of things that I can share, and yes, but I want to really make it really, really clear to be aware that our health is really affected by our thoughts. So that's something that it is important for us to know, and it's not
Yeah.
something. It's not affecting us a little bit. It's affecting really a lot, and I'll go into that. So obviously, we're talking about a lot of technical words, but we will go into the practice so we can see it by ourselves. Because once we see it by ourselves, that changes everything because we are aware of it.
Yeah.
And well, there's another thing that I didn't mention, but we're talking about health. And when we're talking about health in this platform, we are forced to say some kind of um, we have to say that we are not doctors and we are not professionals because that's how this world this is
Yeah.
how the world works. So we have to say this just to avoid any problem with anyone. But that's and of course I'm saying this with a lot of respect with everyone who is a doctor or who works in this field, and also with a lot of respect. I mean, inviting them to have some openness or respect for whoever thinks a little bit differently. And by the way, this is an experience. Everything that I'm going to say now is something that I experienced directly. I didn't. Nobody told me this. Is something that I experienced directly. And by the way, somebody in the Spanish channel told me that some people are learning Spanish with this video. So I hope nobody's learning English with our videos because we probably have a different accent. But anyway, but leave your comments, please, because we're actually taking those comments for whoever is writing me in my personal social media. Please leave these comments here so we can take them for the next videos and also to take that as part of the topics that we're going to be covering in the future. And well, but something that I want to say about this is that uh, something that I have personally experienced is that with the higher dimensional beings, when I was with them, they once I asked them, first they were saying that they are not healing us. I have seen how they heal people. Like really, people come with some problems and they are healing them in the moment, like there in seconds. And one day I asked them, why don't you do that? Because I was playing football, I had an injury, I couldn't walk properly. I was really injured. And I told them, like, is it possible for you to heal me? And they were surprised because I never asked them for anything. They said, like, oh, finally you asked us for something. So they said yes. And they said, like, just close your eyes and allow the light to get inside your body. And I did that. And I felt something. And after a few seconds, they said, okay, it's gone. It's done. And I didn't feel anything. I was really injured. I couldn't walk. And suddenly everything was gone. There was no pain. I was walking normally. And so everything what I'm talking about is personal experience, is not something that somebody told me. And at the same time, I saw a lot of people being healed by them in a similar way or different ways. But I have seen this kind of, they say that they are not healing us, that they are just allowing us or helping us to heal ourselves. This is very important because even the way we think, I mean, thoughts are directly connected to the way we see
Yeah.
we experience our reality because we're actually manifesting our reality. And one example of this is what happened in 2020, where a lot of people started to manifest health issues based on their beliefs or what they were thought they were forced to believe. But anyway, I don't want to go into that area.
Yeah.
But
Before you continue, I think, Eduardo, that these guys, the higher dimensional beings, are really committed to our health because they really want us to learn to observe our thoughts. And they say in the book, that's why everybody need to read the books, especially the first one that we are talking about. The very first transmissions, we are kind of talking about all the topics you shared with us, but they are, our thoughts generate different frequencies in us, and those frequencies make us feel good or bad, well-being or worried, and all those emotions, uh, they affect the production of the hormones in our body. So in the medium term, we're going to get sick anyhow. So if we are not aware on what we are thinking or we are believing, we are going to get sick at some point. So it doesn't matter. I mean, there are two things that I would like to just emphasize. First, our body knows and is a perfect machine. The more the more exquisite and perfect machine ever. So that means that it is able to heal by itself, right? It could be, but if we are not thinking consciously on that and believing that, but we are believing about the red ribbon month, about this or that, just we are done. So it is a great relationship between our mind and our belief system in our health. Yes. Um, so I am sure that in these 2 years that you were trained by them, you learned a lot of tools, Eduardo, and I would love you to share with us some tools just to be aware or to bring us back to the best mindset we could get in order to be in a well-being or peace of mind. What would you share with us?
okay, we can play with a little exercise. And before getting there are a few things that I would like to say, because we already mentioned the Spanish, and I would like to say them here anyway. So no, something that I haven't said here is that it is really important for us to understand that every sickness, besides the accident, it's coming from an emotion. So the sickness is basically an emotion that it has not been treated. So this is something really, if we really think about it, we'll see that the sickness is basically a reaction of the body of that something is not really okay. So the moment we start paying attention to whatever is not okay, of course we're not going to get sick. I have never been sick. Adriana has never been sick. So this is something, I mean, of course, in my
I was
case,
sick once. I was sick once, Eduardo, for a long time, like for 8 years, because I was living in fear.
okay,
Yes.
that's a different story.
Not anymore.
Yeah,
Healed,
so
8 years healed completely. But yeah, I went through that.
good. Okay, so well, in my case, something that helped me, and I would like to promote this because actually I was not paying attention to that, but now I realize that some people are getting inspired by this, is the fact that I don't drink any alcohol, and I never did in my life.
Mhm.
So I don't know why whenever I say this, some people feel inspired and they stop drinking. So I think I should do this more often,
Oh,
just to
yeah.
mention that I never drank alcohol in my whole life. So I hope somebody's getting motivated and somehow change some habits regarding alcohol. And another thing that is important for us to know and actually believe it and understand is that being sick is not normal. It's not normal to be sick. So if you believe that it's okay to be sick, then you're kind of giving power to it to affect you. So we have the power, and of course, we is really not normal to be sick. But at the moment we start to believe it, our beliefs, our thoughts are gonna change our reality, and therefore we're allowing them, giving them power to the sickness to somehow come to us, but it's just really on our beliefs, because it's not something normal. It's not normal to be sick. And there's an exception, and this exception is that some people actually came to this life to having a life experience where they experience sickness. Now, Adriana and I didn't come for this. Some people did. So
Yeah.
those are specific cases, but I don't want people to take this as an excuse to start thinking that, oh, well, I came to experience that, because most people didn't come for that. But most people came here to experience other things. But there are cases, and that's why I want to mention it. There are cases where people came to experience sickness, but there are not really many cases. And there are many other sides, like I'm talking about the higher dimensional beings and how they heal me with their light. But as they said, this is something that they are not, they are just allowing us to heal ourselves, and that's something we can do. And we're gonna do an exercise, but I just want to mention that this light is in us, and we can get it through meditation or Reiki, or in my case, when I was in China, I experienced Falun Dafa, which is a technique that is so good that it's forbidden in China. And it's just about some movements with the hands, and if you do it properly, then you're gonna be healed. Like, you really feel a difference in your body. And and even the way we speak, we always say I'm sick. I mean, people say I'm sick, but what if we start saying that I'm not sick, I'm healing? That changes also. But it's not only about saying it, it's also about believing it, because at the end, the thoughts are everything. And okay, so we can do a little exercise to be more aware of ourselves. And something that I would like to say also is that it's very important for us to breathe through the nose. I don't know if you have noticed, but I always breathe through my nose, and I would like to use that more often as an example for whoever wants to get inspired. That breathing through the nose is also very important. That's something I learned with the higher dimensional beings. But anyway, coming back to our little exercise, we can. One thing is what we know as theory. Another thing is the practical part. So the practical part is important for us to be aware of it and do it often. So one little exercise that we can do very often, every day or during our daily life, is we can do it with our the eyes closed, or we can have the eyes open. But to start paying attention, because our attention is very important. So we have to be aware where we have our attention. So we just need to pay attention where we have our attention, and we can start to feel like we move our attention to our shoulder. It's just one example. It can be the left one or the right one, and it's most likely there will come some thoughts. So whenever we see a thought, we can just say, "Hello, thought. I'm busy right now. I'm on my shoulder, so I'll take care of you later." So we come back to the shoulder. The important thing is to have our attention wherever we want to have it. In this case, it can be the shoulder, it can be anywhere else. The important thing is to be aware where we want to be. Once we are there and we are aware that we are there, whenever there is a thought coming, we can say, "Hello, I'm busy, I'm on my shoulder." Then little by little we can start moving to through the arm and all the way to the fingers. But the important part is to have the attention, being aware of our attention that is there. We might feel some muscles that we didn't feel in the past. And that's okay. It's because they were always there. It's just that we are starting to pay attention now. So we can start moving our attention to any of our fingers little by little. We can choose any finger we want. We can just put our attention there, any finger, and we can feel it. It's important just to have our attention there. If we notice that there's a thought coming, we can just say, "Hello, thought. I can see you, but I'll take care of you later. I'm busy now in my finger." If we want to change the finger to another finger, we can move our attention somewhere else and stay there for a while. And we might start noticing something that we didn't notice before. We just need to be aware that our attention is there. There's nothing else we have to do. There might be some thoughts coming, and that's okay. We know what to do. And then we can start coming back. Or we can just go anywhere we want. We can come back to our shoulder just to have our attention there, just to be fully aware that our attention is there. And we can even move to the other shoulder. And we can move to the other fingers if we want. And we come back to the shoulder and we can just start playing with our body. The important part is to start to be aware of our attention, to be aware where our attention is, because basically where our attention is where we are. So we can actually start moving our attention to the heart and just be there for a while. We can move even to our feet. We can just start playing with this. The important part is to be aware where our attention is. We can even move up to the head and come back to the heart. And we can start playing and playing with any part of our body where we want to put our attention. And we are going to start noticing things that we probably didn't notice in the past. And eventually we can just come back and we can do this with the eyes open, with the eyes closed. It really doesn't matter. And eventually we are going to realize this is something we can do anytime. And if we can, take this example as something we can do every time. It's probably something hard to believe that we can live being conscious of ourselves. This is how we start being conscious of our body. And we can do this really anytime. We just need to integrate that in our life. But this is how we start living consciously.
Very nice, Eduardo. I mean, we had this exercise in the broadcast in Spanish, and I felt exactly what I felt right now. You know, every time I put my attention on certain part of my body, I feel warmth, I feel heat. So I feel that is great because it's a lot of energy going there. So it's a healing way, or is a way that brings us healing. And I would like to suggest another idea of, besides putting our attention, we can put it our intention of healing, and that would make this exercise even better. So this way, and there are so many different ways, we can start being in charge of our well-being, and this well-being will bring us different states of mind and energetic frequencies that will eventually bring us to a very, you know, healthy state of mind and body and everything. So all these tools and knowledge Eduardo is sharing with us. So I really, really insist, guys, in buying the book and reading it, because it's all the information is there, and that way we will be able to share all these and chit chat and, you know, share experiences and opinions about this. So we are about to finish this transmission. So we really want to thank you all who were present and who will watch this video in the future. And we really want you to see you next Thursday, as every Thursday. And be aware that the more you share with us, the more we will be able to respond your questions or your doubts or whatever. So share with your friends. And I don't know, Eduardo, if you would like to say anything else before we say goodbye.
Well, just to say goodbye, I would like to say that it is very important for us to be aware that one thing is to know the knowledge, the theoretical part, and another thing is to be doing the practical part. There's a big difference between these two because many times we think that just because we know the theory, we are doing it automatically. But in most cases, we are not. So it's really important to take the practical part and start doing it often until it becomes a habit. And that's how we start changing our life, changing habits. And that's something I really, really recommend for everyone to start really doing.
Yeah, that's true. So read your books and be aware that whenever you start being aware of your thoughts, you will be able to have the life that you want. So thank you, Eduardo. It was a very nice conversation with you. And thank you, everyone who were with us today. And see you next week. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. Thank you, Eduardo. Take care.
Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye bye.